Welcome in, everybody. It's 7-11 on Thursday, July 25th. We have an action-packed show for you. We're talking ACC Kickoff. We're talking around the ACC. We're talking new uniforms. We have a ton to catch up on because Pat and I haven't been on a pod in quite some time. Who's Pat? Who's Billy Ray? This is Billy Ray Mitchell, Charlotte's new resident, moved in. Pat, your sister's painting is blurred, but behind the wall right here. Super excited to be here. And I am so excited that I'm getting on a plane and flying to San Diego for the month of August for a quick trip to enjoy, as long as Delta Airlines does not derail my time there.
Spending 30 days there. Quick trip. Good thing, so Billy Ray will be back in time for hot wings and hotter takes, which is taking place, I believe, the Wednesday of the Nashville game. So Wednesday night, Rally Pickleball, Hot Wings, Hotter Takes, Charlotte, North Carolina. I am also in Charlotte. My name is Pat Finn, and we're going to dive into some topics. We had ACC Media Day this week. We got the new uniforms that we really haven't talked about that much. We're catching up on what's going on this summer. And we're going to start things off with a Hokie haiku. Our friend Pete McGee. This guy is the Joe DiMaggio of Hokie haiku streaks. This guy is the Cal Ripken Jr. of always bringing something to the table, the Iron Man of poetry, Pete McGee. He says, podcast, no topic. Can't wait for the Suns to drop it. Actually, it was just can't wait for Suns to drop it. Quality listen.
Pete McGee, you're unbelievable. Appreciate you always carrying this torch, and appreciate everyone listening to this podcast. Look, this show has been and always will be free. Always. Never going to charge you for this. It's fun. We have fun. You have fun. But we do humbly ask, please subscribe. Please leave a like. Please leave a review on Spotify or Apple. It does make a huge difference. It takes literally 5 seconds. If you started it when I asked you, you'd be done by now. I'll give you one more second. Bop, boop, beep. Okay. Hopefully you did it. If not, I'll ask you next time. And we'll see how that goes. So,
and we also do have the 20 for 20 challenge going on right now. We are 20 followers away from 20,000 followers. So I don't know if any of you guys don't follow us on Instagram, but if you see it at 19,999, you could be number 20,000.
Wow.
So really exciting for the brand. Guys, a little bit of housekeeping. What's going on? A few announcements next month. Nashville, we mentioned the game, August 31st. The party, August 30th. If you have been keeping up on our email list, if you're on our list, we have the party at Tin Roof on Friday night, August 30th, 6 to 9. It is sold out. If you have a ticket, we'll see you there. If you don't, I'm sorry. And hopefully we see you around the weekend, either at the game, before the game, after the game. But
can I just say something on that note real quick, Pat? Just one note. I want to say thank you all so much for everybody that signed up. We didn't even have the chance to go public with the tickets because the early distribution list bought them up right away. So this is our first time really dabbling in an event like this. And, you know, I'm not saying we are definitely going to do it, but the next time that we do it, we will be looking for a place with higher capacity. So I do want to tip my cap to everybody who expressed interest and everybody who did grab tickets. We're really, really, really excited about it.
Couldn't be thankful enough. And we will be going for that unlimited capacity, that uncapped commish, as they say in the software sales world when we used to be there, Billy Ray. But
we did.
Tin Roof, great spot. Also, not as expensive as the Luke Bryan or the Jason Aldean or the Dirks bars. So
we did look. It's for the record, we did look,
and they were very expensive. So we're just happy that we sold this out. We were worried for a bit, but we're pretty fired up. So hey, next year, is there a Tin Roof in Atlanta, Billy Ray? I know you used to live there. We got South Carolina, Gamecocks, Mercedes-Benz. Could be another big weekend. We got a bowl game. Hey, we got the playoff. Got the ACC championship. See you guys there. Next, we did buy more tickets to the game. If you are on our email list, there is a chance that you will be called for getting tickets. We do have more people on the list than we do have tickets, but we did just buy more tickets from Vanderbilt, and hopefully we can distribute them next week once we get the seating chart. And then we will not be having a tailgate with the 11 a.m. kickoff. However, we do encourage you all to attend the Nashville Hokies tailgate, which is right by the stadium. I believe it starts at 8 or 8:30. Pretty early. Should be some donuts, some coffee, BYOB. But check that out on the Nashville Hokies page if you want to RSVP. I know Jill and the Nashville Hokies are doing a good job with that. And last thing, Hot Wings, Hotter Takes. If you are a Charlotte resident and you want to attend to that, we may try to do a live audience. Just let us know if you'd like to come. Have not locked that in yet. Billy Ray, Hags, how is the summer going? How about we do this? We're about to hit August 1st. Summer ends August 1st. Let's be real. Like, football mode really starts after the 4th of July. But, when that calendar hits 8/1, you put on your helmet and your pads. I want you to tell me about your summer so far, just by doing a little Mount Rushmore of summer activities, whether it was an event, a trip, people you got to see. What would be your Mount Rushmore? Should we go back and snake draft?
Let's leave it with one person each. Let's run through our list so I can give it an appropriate reaction. I'm not getting excited to say my next one. First and foremost, the highlight of the summer so far. Everyone in my life is probably sick and tired of hearing about it. I jumped on a plane, 24-hour trip, met up with my buddy Joe Friday, and we took on Noah Khan's Night 2 at Fenway Park, 37,000 people. Mount Joy was on the ticket, and James Bay was on the ticket. And just so people close to me would understand this, when I've talked about it, I haven't mentioned Mount Joy at all. I'm the biggest Joy boy there is in the world. Noah Khan, absolutely fantastic. If you have the opportunity to see him, go ahead and do that. Number 2, highlight of the summer, absolutely crushing South Carolina fans on Twitter for calling themselves USC. I just thought it was an opinion. I was a couple of glasses of wine deep at dinner, and somebody walked up to our table and they said, "Oh, I go to USC. I'm a sophomore." I said, "Oh, you go to Southern California?" Literally said that. He's like, "No, I go to South Carolina." I was like, "Oh, so you go to South Carolina?" Yes. Stop. You're not USC. USC is on the West Coast. Case closed. I will make fun of you if you say that. I didn't make fun of the kid. I just corrected him.
It sounded like you did.
I kind of crushed him. Number 3 is still in the works. It's going to San Diego. Super excited to see all of my folks out there. Lived out there for a while in 2021, I think it was. Yeah, 2021. Excited to get back out there. And number 4, I have to say, we have had a couple of opportunities to shower our friend Hannah Hamrick for launching her book, Summertime Friends. Casey came on the show for the NCAA, basically, Would You Go There breakdown, where we broke down all of the different schools. They are Buckeye fans, but they are friends of ours. So if you are interested in a romance novel by a wonderful person, Summertime Friends, it came out on Wednesday, and I am in the acknowledgments. So you'll have to pick up a copy to see what that says. So that'll be updated in my LinkedIn profile and probably in my Twitter bio for a few months. So go ahead and get yourself a copy.
I did get my copy as well. Might be diving in next weekend. Fired up.
Romance novels.
Yeah.
Let's start a book club.
I don't know if I've read a romance novel, but I will dive into that genre for a friend. We are friends of Saturday over here as well. Summertime friends of Saturday.
Yes.
What's
your list, dude?
I didn't know you were interested. My list. All right, you guys are going to love this one. If anyone knows me and my housing situation in Charlotte over the past few years, it has been tumultuous, unprecedented times. I have been I guess, what is the word? Displaced from a flood. My place is flooded multiple times. I bought a new place over here in MP, and finally, after about a year of not tolerating the bathroom tile, I did have my floors replaced yesterday.
Whoa!
Didn't even tell you this.
You didn't tell me this. This is big news.
I did go live on the Twitter timeline soliciting opinions of, hey, should we go with the dark? Should we go with the light? What do we like? And finished it up yesterday, and it looks fantastic. So that's
huge news.
That's number one. Number two, Billy Ray and I, we actually did attend the NIL Summit in Atlanta.
Wow. What a time.
In June, which was an incredible event. And
College Football Hall of Fame, dude.
Really cool to see the College Football Hall of Fame. Some student athletes from all over who are just rock stars in NIL. Some cool brands as well. We had the brand side. Want to see some more fans there. Want to see how we can get some more fans there. But I was a fan of seeing my guy Clarkston Hines in the College Football Hall of Fame. He actually, we work together down here in Charlotte. He does property stuff. So cool full circle moment there. That's my number two. Number three, Nashville. I went to Nashville for a bachelor party beginning of June. Connor Baker, and it was pretty much all Hokies on the trip. We had a phenomenal time.
Was it a baker's dozen?
I mean, we actually ate at Baker's Field for dinner on Friday night. And I gotta tell you, their family style, like $20 per person. You get like everything, and it's only $20. And it was like the best salad I've ever had. Pontoon Saloon. Yeah, that rocked. And then last but certainly not least, did go out to Tahoe for a wedding a couple weekends ago. If money was no object, guys, Lake Tahoe, it's probably number one on my list of places where I would want to own some property, own a home, live there full time. The place rules. So, yeah. Shall we get into the meat and potatoes of the pod?
Yes, thank you for sticking around. Just catching you guys up. Pat, we haven't done a podcast together in a while, so we had to catch people up on what we were doing. And also, it was nice to chat with you. I know work's been hectic. Haven't had a chance to catch up. So we're going to talk about ACC Kickoff on the Virginia Tech side. Now, I want to preface this by saying, look, I like it. I love the content. I love seeing the guys get out there and talk about their team, but it's the same questions and the same answers from everybody. You are not going to learn a lot about your team at ACC Kickoff, Big Ten Kickoff, SEC Kickoff, Sun Belt Kickoff, whatever you want to call it. How does the team look this year, coach? Any coach. We look awesome. What's the goal this year, coach? Win a championship. Are you ready to play so-and-so in week 9? We're focused on week 1. And then, of course, anytime we have them on television, Packer. Well, you know, my wife's a Hokie, which we love. We love Packer. We love them. But we do get that every single year on the day that Virginia Tech is there. But here are a couple of notes that I have from ACC Media Day. Number 1, best dressed. Coach Pry had the absolute best tie. Pry brought his A1 tie game. Unbelievable. Dorian Strong. Look, he brought out the Carolina blue kind of. It was powderish blue. It was light blue. But guess what? Light blue is awesome. Suit looked great. Fantastic. He was my runner-up. Now, APR, you might be sleeping on APR. Loved the colorway. He kind of looked like a bouncer turned into a lawyer who definitely you don't want to be on the other side of the aisle from, or being the guy thrown out of the bar. Kind of gave me some Goodwill Hunting, Robin Williams vibes with the corduroy-ish kind of patterny look. But last but not least, Kyron Drones, best dressed. The maroon with the black tie, black shoes. Absolutely loved it. And it was his birthday, and he did bring the energy. Kyron Drones, quote, "My expectation is winning an ACC championship." Sure. Let's talk about it. Put it on the table. Kyron Drones, absolutely love to see it. Look, I think I think a few things. I think this team has a ton of confidence. I think this team, we're going to talk about it a little bit later, has a ton of hype and a ton of attention surrounding them. But when I look back at this offseason, what I'm most, I don't want to say proud because I had no impact on it, but what I'm most excited about is, Pat, we had no legal trouble. We had no nonsense. We had no, I don't think there was a negative headline that came out the entire offseason. If the most upset that you are over an offseason is whether or not we got a hype video about our jerseys on time, you're having a pretty good offseason. So I want to say Virginia Tech, A+ offseason. Like from a staying out of trouble and just focusing on what you need to focus on, fantastic.
Yeah. So I was looking at the media from the weekend on the Hokie football Twitter page. Has anyone talked about Coach Pry when he wears a polo and like how it's always just like a new polo and you're like, where has that been? I don't see that on Fanatics, Roback, Alumni Hall. The one with the Hokie bird head on it. I know that's a popular. You don't like the Hokie bird logo. I know you don't.
Not huge. It's not my favorite.
But I know like that's like one that a lot of fans want to see.
Sure.
We get it on the shelf. We get that on the rack. But I'm looking at this picture. It looks like we got Pry, APR, Kyron Drones, Dorian Strong. Looks like they just went out to dinner or something. And Pry's polo. You're like, it's a pretty sweet polo. Should we do the share screen?
If you have confidence in it to do it effectively, let's go for it.
Oh man. We might have to, Bill, you might need to fill the air for the next 25 seconds while we do this. But Coach Pry, thank you. We'll tweet it out. We'll do a quote tweet. Thank you so much for always wearing cool polos on the Hokie pages. I can't find
what that reminds me of is I went down to visit Coach Partridge when he was at Ole Miss a couple years ago, and Lane Kiffin had the most awesome Nike sweatshirt of all time. It was a powder blue Nike sweatshirt with Ole Miss in small red lettering. And it's like, where the hell did he get this? Where the hell did he get this? And my guy, Buddy Broski, he goes, I'll tell you where he got it. He had our equipment people make it, and Nike was pissed. So he literally made it himself and was rocking it at practice. I'm not sure I could see the logo here.
Can't see the logo.
We need to get you some reps on the share a screen thing. I know you love to say that you can do it, but you need to put in some more work on this. You're like, oh, let me share my screen. 30 seconds later, here it is. We gotta get that right.
You've never been on a Zoom call before. Yeah, this share screen is at the bottom. Yeah, pretty fired up about ACC Media Day, and I didn't get to watch any of it, but I did get to see the highlights, which was good enough for me.
So one other thing that Coach Pry did talk about was he alluded to this being a tough decision. And that's what you want to hear when you know exactly who's going to ACC Media Day. One of two things are happening. You have a fantastic senior class. You just don't have a lot of leadership on your team. And Pat, we had gotten texts all weekend. Hey, why is Bashal Tootin not there? Why is Ollie Jennings not there? Look, I think Coach Pry was just in a position where, you kind of had to pick a name out of a hat because we have a bunch of guys who are handling business, and you could have brought any one of them. So you absolutely love to hear that.
It's a good problem to have when you're returning 19 of 22. You might need to have some difficult conversations about who gets the nod to come to ACC Media Day. So, yeah, but I mean, it gets me fired up about APR and Dorian Strong. And I mean, Pry talked about it. Drones is more confident than ever this year. I feel like what we've seen from Drones over this offseason, just generally like going down and training with Cam Ward and Shadur Sanders, and just his presence with the media is so strong right now. And he even says, they have me doing media stuff. Like I know I have some things I need to work on. But I think he's doing a really good job of just being a leader for this ball club and representing really well.
Absolutely. Do we want to talk a little bit about some of the other schools across the ACC?
We did welcome in our new friends. we did welcome in Cal. Cal did bring 2 quarterbacks to ACC Media Day, and actually that was a storyline in itself. There was 19 quarterbacks at ACC Media Day. I repeat, 19 quarterbacks at ACC Media Day. UNC also brought 2 quarterbacks. Duke also brought 2 quarterbacks. So interesting. I know that Florida State didn't bring any quarterbacks to ACC Media Day. But what do you make of bringing that many signal callers to the ACC? Does that mean that this is a top-heavy quarterback league this year?
I mean, I think with the past couple of years, look, last year, we didn't get clowned for this take, but we should have. I actually don't know if we should have, because I expected the ACC to have much better quarterback play than it did last year. Obviously Jordan Travis was fantastic last year. Kyron Drones came out of nowhere, but you look at a Van Dyke situation, you look at some of the other quarterbacks that we expected to be really good. They took a back seat. Jerkovic had a rough finish to his career, to put it lightly. Largely at the hands of Virginia Tech. Garrett Schrader, you thought that guy was going to put up some numbers. He wasn't able to do it at Syracuse, but I do think that there's a ton of talent in this league this year. I think it does have the chance to be the league of the quarterback. I think Josh Pate was talking about this the other day. I think like 6 of the top 12 Heisman Trophy frontrunners are in the SEC, which I find very interesting. I think they do have a lot of talented quarterbacks with Jackson Dart and Urs and all those fellas down there. So we'll see how that pans out. But one of the things that really stuck out to me was UVA brought Tony Muskett, the graduate quarterback who didn't even finish the season last year. I thought that was interesting. I really just don't know what's going on in Charlottesville. I don't know what's been going on in Charlottesville ever since 2019. I didn't know what was going on in Charlottesville before then. So I decided, I was like, how is their season going to go? Like, what is their situation? I'm going to go ahead and say it, Patrick. UVA might win 1 game at home this year. Like, that is legitimately in play. UVA's home schedule, they open up with Richmond. They're encouraging everyone to wear orange to that game. Should win that game. But then you play Maryland. Then you play Boston College. Then you play Louisville, then you play North Carolina, and then you play SMU. I don't see them doing very well. I mean, to be honest, you could put anybody on the schedule, and I'd be like, I don't know how UVA is going to fare because they're just not a good football team. But that is a tough schedule. Louisville is going to be one of the best teams in the ACC. SMU is going to score a ton of points. North Carolina is talented and never lives up to their talent and likes to lose to Virginia every once in a while. So I can see them maybe stealing that game. And then you got Bill O'Brien, Billy O.B. back in the college game. So we'll see how this all pans out, but I don't think that it's going to shake out very favorably for the Cavaliers.
Yeah, I think I don't know if there's odds on if Tony Elliott makes it through the season, but if there are, I want to take them because I think that guy's seat, Tony, nice guy, right?
Yeah,
tough,
I like Tony.
Hasn't really succeeded at all. Has been dealt a really challenging hand, but just questionable results up to this point at Virginia. And
I will say he did say this. He did say this at ACC Media Day, ACC Kickoff, whatever they want to brand it. I don't think that a team has been through more than UVA has been. Like, he was dealt just about the crappiest hand that you can possibly be dealt, to no fault of his own. But the results have to be better. And I don't know what the positive drumbeat is in Charlottesville right now, but they have to find one. And I don't know where they're going to find it. So,
speaking of the ACC Coastal that no longer exists, but what about Miami? Josh Pate, very high on the Hurricanes. Josh Pate is predicting Florida State over Miami in the ACC Championship, which would be a rematch of a regular season matchup. What about this Miami squad is different than any other Miami squad that has been receiving any sort of hype going into the season? Because this could just be another, all glitz and glam and no results. I know they have a real legitimate quarterback now in Cam Ward. But what are you hearing about Miami that should change your opinion?
I mean, Miami has always had talent forever. They have had question marks at the quarterback for a while. I think that is probably leading the charge on where the positivity comes from. But I mean, Pat, this is one of the reasons that I'm really excited that our game is at 11 o'clock is that I am fascinated by this Florida Miami game. Miami's going to have to go to Gainesville at 3:30. We're going to be walking out hopefully after trouncing our SEC opponent. And this is a huge our SEC JV opponent. This is a huge, huge moment for both teams. Is Miami going to come out and live up to the off-season hype that has been off the rails, as it is every single year? But Mario Cristobal, a lot of people have a microscope on him after some of the questionable decisions that he made last year, basically costing them the Georgia Tech game in unbelievable fashion. And then a Florida Gators team who honestly has been floundering in terms of off-season nonsense, NIL problems, just transfers and everything else. And I really like their coach. It just hasn't come together. And, it's been said that they could finish 6-6 and be a top 25 team because their schedule is so difficult this year. So I'm fascinated with that football game, but really, I think Virginia Tech is going to learn a lot about themselves when we play. Now, of course, we're going to learn something about ourselves when we play Vanderbilt and when we play Marshall. But I think that Rutgers game is huge, like a huge game for Virginia Tech. Rutgers is well coached, good offensive line, crushed us last year. We get them at home, and we'll see what happens there. But Miami, their schedule until they play Virginia Tech, they really don't play anybody. They play Florida week 1 in Gainesville, but then they have Florida A&M, Ball State, and South Florida. So those are the games that they're playing coming up to us going down to Coral Gables and playing them. So that's going to be huge. That's going to be absolutely huge for the ACC race, and we'll see what happens. So great aside there, Pat. I don't know what's different other than they have a quarterback who's a proven commodity. But they had a quarterback who's a proven commodity last year who took 15 steps backwards. So who knows? Is this Ja'Cory Harris 2.0, or are we looking at something that's actually legitimate? We'll have to find out. Last thing on the ACC, we tweeted about this today. It was met with some question marks. It was met with some bonks. It was met with some other stuff. But Rachel Demita, in one of the most surprising things ever, has been hired at Duke. I don't know what her official role is, but she's going to be doing sideline stuff. So Rachel Demita, for those of you that don't know, she was hosting Courtside Club, very involved in the NBA media sphere. She did a lot of work with the Big Three basketball tournament situation. And then she was also on 2K TV, which is basically how most people know her. She was basically on the home screen of NBA 2K, and every time you fired the game up, she'd be interviewing someone, talking about the highlights, yada, yada, yada. She is an influencer. She influenced many of us when we were youngsters. So that is why it was shocking to me. This is not like what would be a good comp here, Patrick. This is not like the university. This is not like BYU hiring Sydney Sweeney, but it is in like the JV bucket of that. So those were my thoughts. That is why it was shared. Any other thoughts on the ACC as a whole?
What a conference. Welcome,
Stanford.
Cal, SMU, and Stanford. Stanford. Listen, Virginia Tech. In what other conference can you, or not conference, but at what other place? How about this? At what other place can you play Vanderbilt, Duke, and Stanford all in the same year?
And Rutgers. I mean, pretty unbelievable.
Where's Rutgers academically aligned with Vanderbilt and Duke? That was the point I was trying to make. Vanderbilt is the Duke of the SEC. You got Stanford, Stanford.
That's
goes
true.
Back on the whole public Ivy conversation we had a few weeks ago.
That is true. So I want to ask this question, Patrick. I am going to answer it too, but I am going to ask the question. Is the Virginia Tech hype train out of control? Does everyone need to slow down? Does everybody need to relegate their excitement? Does everybody need to chill? Do we need to stop talking about it? I mean, I saw this tweet. Bennett Conlin. Virginia Tech winning the ACC is a popular feature on BetMGM. Of all ACC futures placed via BetMGM, 41% of the handle has been on the Hokies. Virginia Tech avoids Florida State, Louisville, and NC State in conference play, and the Hokies host Clemson in November. I will repeat and say this again. I am here to be relevant. I am here to be talked about. I am here to be a fan of a team that has stakes. And to quote our fearless leader, Brent Pry, we all came to Virginia Tech because of those expectations. This is a place where you should expect to compete for the playoffs and expect to compete for a championship. That's who Tech is. That's who we are. If it upsets you that people are talking about us in the national forum, you should go be a fan of Boston College or UTSA or Bowling Green. Give me the national attention and give us a chance to live up to it. That is all I'm saying.
I think your Pry impression needs some work. You were the first person to tell me when I'm not good at an impersonation, so I'm just gonna hit the ping pong ball back over the net here, BRM. You need to work on the Pry, but
I do.
I'm with you. Anyone who says I don't like when we're ranked at the beginning of the season, dude, come on, like you want to be ranked.
I don't like breakfast in bed. It might ruin the rest of the day. Said nobody ever. I am thoroughly enjoying. You know what? That's what we're going to call it from now on. Off-season hype is breakfast in bed, but it's still on you to go have a great day. Wow. Unbelievable. Just, I don't know what that was. A simile? I don't know what it was, but it was great.
If our team only plays good when we're under the radar, then we don't have a good team.
Exactly. 100%.
A good team plays good when you're supposed to play well. Well is the word, not good. But jump into
some other huge news in the NCAA. So Ross Dellinger put this out today. On Tuesday, commissioners finalized roster limits that will be filed Friday in House settlement. Sources tell Yahoo Sports. So this means that football will now sit at 105 scholarships, men and women's basketball 15, baseball 34, softball 25, volleyball 18. First and foremost, it is about time we fix this baseball situation. Baseball had about 11 and a half scholarships. That was absolutely BS. You had guys on like 10% scholarships, 12% scholarships. If they brought somebody in, they would just cut a kid. It was nasty. So it's about time that we got that rectified. They're at 11.7, by the way. That's the specific number for baseball. If you didn't know, you have 9 people on the field at a given time. You also have relievers. You also have, starting pitchers. So it just didn't make any sense. But all of the other numbers of scholarships, you're adding 60 scholarships to the books. And let's just average that out to $60,000 per scholarship per year. You are adding $3.6 million of additional funds that these scholarship funds are going to have to come up with. When we're talking about jumping into a world of revenue sharing, of essentially taxing the donor base at an unbelievable level, with NIL and stadium improvements and coaching salaries and GA salaries and everything else that goes into it, this just doesn't make a ton of sense to me. Adding $3.6 million of additional funds. Now, they're not going to have to fill that. They don't have to carry, football teams don't have to carry 105 scholarships. But the flip side, or not the flip side, on that side as well, you're adding 20 spots that blue bloods can fill. So these are, in some cases, you're able to grab some of these really good players because, quite frankly, Alabama doesn't have the space to grab them. Georgia doesn't have the space to grab them. But you're giving 20 additional scholarships to the Oregons, the Oklahomas, the Texases, the USCs, Southern California. You're adding scholarships to these teams. And the way that I see it is it gives the rich a chance to get even richer, which doesn't dilute where talent is going anymore. So if you had to flip it and you looked at the positive side, it'll be really interesting to see how schools use this. This is a nice counter balance to the short term of the high school kids that, quite frankly, got screwed over the last 3 or 4 years, where you had COVID kids who stayed at school for 20 years and you had to take really, really small recruiting classes. We're pretty much past that now. And then also, will schools use this to attack the portal? Will they add more players through high school? This is a huge change. And aside from baseball and softball and basketball, I guess, I hate it. I don't think that this benefits anybody but the rich. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think, like, where did this come from?
Like Ross Dellinger.
No, I know, but did anyone see this coming from football? No. Is what I'm saying. Like this, excited about the other sports getting more opportunities to add scholarships, but I didn't know that this was on the forecast for football.
And another thing that this puts a magnifying glass on is this the death of the walk-on. Walk-ons are something that we've loved for years. Guys like Sam Rogers coming in, making a name for himself and earning a scholarship eventually. If you have 105 guys on your roster that are on scholarship, the space that there is to become a walk-on is now severely cut down yet again, going from 85 to 105 guys that are on scholarship. So just doesn't seem to make a lot of sense to me for football, but it's what's happening. So I don't think that they really care what we think. But here's something that was a hot button topic. Pat McAfee is coming back to College Game Day. And look, I personally am a fan. Does some of the stuff Pat McAfee does drive me a little crazy? Sure. But I think he is a net positive on the game. Do you have an opinion on Pat McAfee, Pat?
He's a win. He's a win. Everything he does is great. Not everything.
Everything? Yeah.
I think generally speaking, most things that he's involved with get a ton of attention and a ton of views. And that's exactly what you want if you're leading a media company. And Pat McAfee gets eyeballs. He does things that are exciting. He does things that are cringe every now and then, which is totally fine. But I mean, I don't think there's really any arguments against Pat McAfee other than, hey, he's annoying sometimes. But like, aren't we all? So
I know I am.
I'm very much in favor of him staying around, and anyone who kind of gives him grief, I don't really get it. I think he's really good for the game, and people really like him.
If you like him or you hate him, guess what? You have an opinion. There's nobody that you say, what do you think of Pat McAfee? And they go, yeah, I don't really know. I'm take him or leave him. If they took him off the set, I wouldn't care. No, nobody says that. So I think he's a net positive for the game. And I want to be delicate with this next point, Pat. And I think it warrants a little bit of an extended conversation. I love Lee Corso. Lee Corso has been a stamp on my childhood. He has done so much for college football. He has done so much for the game. He's done so much for so many schools. He's done so much for Virginia Tech. Has a lot of love for Navy. Like, I adore Lee Corso. It was announced today that Lee Corso is back at 88 years old. I guess the only way I can say this is I don't know how much longer we can do this. Do you have any other way to package that? I feel for Lee Corso. I love him. He had an amazing run. I guess that's the take. I don't know how many more years of Lee Corso we can have. It's reminding me, Pat, a lot of who's the Notre Dame coach that was on college sports for forever, Lou Holtz. Like, it's giving.
I thought you were going to say who's the president.
Oh no, it's giving. It's
Lee
giving.
Didn't run for re-election.
It's giving. That's yes. So he is running for re-election. It's giving me Lou Holtz vibes. My dad would sit and watch College Game Day final, and you'd have Lou Holtz, God bless him, but he'd be up there, and my dad would just be like, I almost feel bad watching this. And I feel like that's the territory we're starting to encroach upon.
Sure. Yeah, no, I get it. It's kind of part of the game for me at this point. just part of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Not turning it off because Lee's on there. I like how Kirk really guides him and helps him. I think it's very sweet, but I do understand where people want him off the show because there is a lot of senior moments that he has, and there's nothing he can do about it. But I think he wants to go until he can't go no more, whatever that means. So,
and honestly, he has in a large regard earned that right. And in no way am I saying that he has to go. It's just becoming a question of how much longer can he go for, is my question. So, but should we move on to uniforms? We haven't really had a conversation about them.
Oh, the uniforms. Yeah. I mean, they're really awesome. If you guys haven't seen them yet. Yeah. I think we can be really brief here. The uniforms look great. I can't wait to potentially buy one.
Wow.
Or at least see what they look like to be purchased. We haven't seen what a single digit looks like. I think a single digit will look even better than these 25s will look. I mean, no notes on the uniforms.
My only note. I have one note. And the first thing I want to say is the uniforms are awesome. They're fantastic. I do want to say that anytime a new uniform comes out, pretty excited. I haven't looked at a uniform that Tech's put out in the last 20 years and been like, these uniforms are awful. That includes the last uniforms that we had, by the way. These are awesome. It was everything that everybody asked for. Throwback, no shoulder collars. I know people were really, really, really emotional about the shoulder collars. But the white uniform with the Hokie stone and like the hue of orange and maroon, it just looks a little cartoonish to me. That is my only gripe if I had to have one. But I am very excited. I think they're going to look great. I know that there's been a little Zapruder film that came through from Clark Ruland, basically analyzing if the maroon is actually orange. So I'm not sure if it actually is. I'm not sure if you can zoom on there, but that's my only nitpick. I'm talking about in the number on the white uniform.
Okay.
It looks a little odd to me. That's my
only
pick.
I don't know who the model is. We can call them the model.
I don't think these are players on our team, by the way.
For all intents and purposes. We need, if we're going to put double-digit guys out there, we got to fill out the uni. You see how there's like, it's a little like, it's not filled out. We need like a beefy guy in this shirt, so it's actually filled out.
I'm not saying that we need 350 pounds out there, but we need to fill out the uniform.
Thank you. 25 looks great. This on the right-hand side, the maroon one, the white one. I agree. I do think the maroon looks better than the white.
Fantastic. The maroon is unbelievable. Pat, any wish lists for alternates?
Do we have orange? Like, I don't know what the orange will look like. I don't know if we need it. These are good. But
Pat, I love orange. I love orange. I know I know that in the past we have not won a lot of games in the orange. I think that we reversed the curse when we had North Carolina come to town, won that game. I love the orange. You can talk about black uniforms, you can talk about gray uniforms, but if we're gonna have alternates, I do hope that orange is featured.
With you.
Moving right along to Christian Darrisaw. Christian Darrisaw is now the highest paid offensive tackle by annual value in the NFL. Absolute legend. Just cheers. Unbelievable. I'm not a big count your pockets kind of guy, so I'm not going to say the number. It's a lot. Shout out to Christian Darrisaw. Has made an unbelievable career for himself in Minnesota. So we do tip our cap to our guy CD. Unbelievable.
There you go. And there it is.
There's the number.
See, I've gotten really good at the screen sharing thing, so you guys can see the number if you're on the YouTube page. yeah, that's exciting. Christian Darrisaw, Wyatt Teller. If you guys are, in your 30s and you're starting to have kids and you might have a boy, feed that kid, because one day he might be an offensive tackle or an offensive guard, and he could help you guys have an awesome retirement just based on these numbers here. We got Darrisaw, we got Wyatt. Maybe we'll have them bounce at Spring Jam next spring.
Maybe. I don't know what their rate's going to be though. So we might have to work that into the budget. Letters from Lunch Pail. You want to kick it off?
Daddy Pry says, and thanks for these are some last.
I'm so clipping that.
It's the user's name. Just to clarify, the user's name, Daddy Pry. He had multiple. Let's go. Oh, guys. All right. The questions were flooding in, so we can hit these as they come in. Daddy Pry says, what game are y'all most excited for other than Vandy and Clemson?
So games that I am most excited for but will not attend. I have to go with Miami. And I have to go with Georgia Tech. I think Georgia Tech is a criminally underrated team in the ACC. They have their answer at quarterback. They have their answer at head coach. They've done an awesome job in the portal. I think Georgia Tech is an underrated team. It's the one game that I'm not going to be able to attend, unfortunately. So I'm excited for both of those games just because I think it's going to be a tremendous test for us. Other than that, I will go with. Man, I'm like contemplating between Boston College and Rutgers. Rutgers probably going to be a 3:30 kickoff. It's not the home opener because I know that we have Marshall at 4:30, but it's the home opener for football that is against another Power 5 opponent. So, but I will go with Boston College because Thursday night in Blacksburg is unbeatable. It's October 17th. The leaves are going to be changing color. It's going to be absolutely beautiful, and we're going to have fireworks just like we have behind your head in your virtual background.
I was talking about this with Carter Trimble, shout out, who we were talking about last year and how every game was kind of exciting, at least in the second half of the year once we turned on the gas. This calendar, this schedule, every game is kind of exciting. All right. Mm-hmm. And I know, we are the Sons of Saturday, and that's what we do. We create and manufacture excitement here. But I can't find a game on this schedule that I'm not fired up about. I mean, even if we wanted to work backwards, UVA, first time playing them at home in front of fans in 6 years. That's awesome. And, oh, by the way, we're going to be supposed to be good this year. That could, clinch an ACC title appearance, maybe. Weekend before that, Duke. I'm turning 30 the next day. It's my 30th birthday party. If you guys are at Duke, let's hang out. I'm excited for that. Maybe you guys should be excited for that. I guess maybe that's the least exciting game on the schedule, but I have an inherent reason to be excited for that. Clemson is before Duke. That's going to rock. Syracuse is before Clemson. Syracuse is exciting. Why, Pat? What's exciting about going up to the JMA Wireless Dome in November? It's exciting because it's going to tell us a lot about our team. If we're playing meaningful November football, we are winning meaningful November football games on the road at a place that sucks and is very hard to win at. It doesn't suck.
When was the last time we won there?
It's been a really long time.
It's been at least 10 years, right?
Billy Ray, it's been way longer than 10 years. It's been like 20 years plus. I don't think we have won there since like I would have to look at the Wikipedia, We might not have a win there this century, or we might have like a 2001 or 2002 win there. It's been a long time. Maybe 2000. I think we won there in 2000.
Wow.
Georgia Tech's going to rock. Homecoming, late October. Boston College, Thursday night game in October. Are you kidding me? Stanford.
Sell me on this, please.
Sell you on what?
Stanford,
first time ever playing at Stanford. Could be the only time we ever play at Stanford. There's a lot of Hokies in Palo Alto who are helping transcend the tech industry. I say Palo Alto, San Francisco, the Bay, who are out there doing great things, entrepreneurs, smart people. I mean, Palo Alto, it's beautiful. San Francisco, objectively, is a very challenging place to go. There are some very beautiful parts of San Francisco. It is probably a top 3 naturally beautiful city in America.
That is true.
So, there is the upside there. That's my Stanford.
So to recap, we've never played there. There are smart people that went to Virginia Tech there, and it's beautiful. That's the sell. That game could be played at 9:00 in the morning, Eastern time. Just saying.
What?
That game could be played. Wait, no, that's not how that would work at all.
No, it's not. So you're not selling
that's
me.
Totally not right.
You're not selling me the other way. So we're gonna move. We're gonna move forward a week to Miami. Miami on the road, Friday night. Awesome. Rutgers the week before. Revenge game. A Big Ten ACC Old Big East matchup. That's just like a nice 3:30 game right there. That's gonna be like the September game. Maybe Orange Effect. I haven't looked. And then Marshall and OD. Okay, I guess ODU's. Yeah,
that kind of sucks.
We are not.
I will not be there. I will not be there.
Love all the 757 Hokies.
Revenge game.
Really tough to sell anyone to go out to Norfolk after we've lost there twice in a row.
Marshall 4:30 kick. I mean, that got me excited. The fact that it's at 4:30. Great
home opener. Time. When was the last time we had a home opener in the late afternoon, other than Friday Carolina night game? This is special.
Kind of a big deal.
There's a lot of exciting games here, Daddy Pry.
Next question. Vanderbilt weekend. Are y'all attending the Nashville Hokies tailgate? Options for Hokies to hang besides tin roof. Pete McGee, go into the middle of the street, throw a rock on Broadway and wherever it lands, hopefully not on somebody's head. Walk in, you'll have a great time, sing some music. It'll be an awesome time. I mean, after 9:00, we'll be pouring out a Tin Roof. We're having a good time. And Pete McGee, I'm pretty sure you're going to Tin Roof. So I'll just see you at Tin Roof.
Just don't throw
rocks.
And don't throw chairs.
Or no chairs off of roofs, please.
Do
we have any other ones?
I do suggest Tootsie's, Jason Aldean's, Tequila Cowboys under Jason Aldean's, the Morgan Wallen Bar, Eric Church, Chiefs, pretty cool bar.
Can I say something crazy?
You think I'm just going to say no?
Would it be funny or weird or gross after we're done on Broadway to jump into the Tennessee River? Is that dangerous? Is it like fast?
I think it's the Cumberland River, and it's very brown and very gross. You can do it. I'm not doing that.
Okay. That's it. That was my question.
VT Fish 1 says, who is QB2?
Oh,
that's a fall camp question.
I mean, it's got to be our guy from UCLA or Cal, wherever the hell he's from. He's from out there. Dylan Schlee, Mark Schlee.
We'll find out in a few weeks. That is a good question.
I need to put some more respect on my guy's name here.
We are very much on the drone canoe, the drone zone, the drone locomotive. Robbie,
look, it's got to be Colin Schlee, and I got to put some respect on my guy here. He's 6'3", he's 225. He came from UCLA. Jordan logo. It was a huge pickup to make sure that we had a quarterback who had similar size and skill set to Kyron Drones, because I am a Pop Watson stock buyer, but if you go from Kyron Drones to Pop Watson, you are drastically having to change the offense that you're running based upon his skill set and his size. That's my take.
Yeah, we'll find out more in camp. What away games are the Suns going to this year besides Vandy? That's asked by Robbie Emerson. They'll just be Duke, right? Maybe
it's just
Miami. There's a look at Miami right now.
I can't go to Miami. I have a wedding the day of the game, which is a huge bummer. I could get on here and say I'm going to Stanford. I don't think that I'm going to do that. I can almost guarantee that I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that.
Skipper fan account.
Wait, the real question is Virginia Tech has bye weeks when Ohio State plays Northwestern in Chicago, and I've never been to Chicago before. And that is, Pat, I actually was told to tell you this. Casey Hamrick's birthday is the same week that Ohio State plays Northwestern in Northwestern. That's a potential trip. So there is that. I'm interested. I think I will find myself. I will find myself at a game or two. I know that I am going to the Stanford Clemson game in Clemson because I'll be down there for a wedding. So
another wedding. You're getting crushed.
I'm getting crushed by weddings, dude. It's awful. So yeah. But
that's motoring through here. Skipper fan account. Do you know how much one of my cannonball weighs?
I do not.
I didn't know that Skipper Cannon had cannonballs. I thought it was just.
Oh, wait, this is Skipper the Cannon asked this?
Yeah.
I don't. I have no idea. I'd probably 0 pounds because he doesn't shoot cannonballs. I will have to ask Homer Hickam. We'll get him back on.
Please let us know, Mr. Skipper fan account at all of Virginia Tech. It's a great account. Daddy Pry back at it again with the white vans. He says, thoughts on Clemson, Florida State, Virginia Tech, NC State to Big 12 and teams y'all would look forward to playing in stadiums that would be fun to play at.
Do you think 12?
Billy Ray wants this Big 12 thing to happen?
I want this. Hold on. I want the Big 12 thing to happen if those schools come with us and there is more of a understanding of the backing, because if private equity is getting involved, that means that they're going to want to see results or they're going to pull out. And if they do pull out, we're going to be in an awful situation. I'm looking at the Big 12 right now. It's actually funny. Mayhul brought this up and he was like, who wants to go to wherever Texas Tech is?
Lubbock.
Who wants to go to Lubbock? Me? It sounds like a whole lot of fun. Like, you're telling me that we might go to Lubbock for a football game? I'm just going to read off some places that I would absolutely love to go. First of all, Utah. You're telling me we might have a conference game in Utah in late November? I can go watch the Hokies and then go hit the slopes. Sign me up. I'm in on that. UCF, Central Florida. Pay some homage and some respect. He's not dead, but Hunter Couture is from Orlando. Get to go to Orlando, make a whole weekend out of it. I know the Yetzi family would love to stop at Disney World. Have at it. Let's do it. What else do we have on here? BYU, another opportunity to hit the slopes. Baylor, fine. Kansas basketball, playing Kansas basketball in conference. Oklahoma State, Stillwater. I would love to go there. By the way, just a heads up, Arizona State is in the Big 12, and you could go down to Phoenix and Scottsdale for a weekend and have an awesome time. Sign me up for literally all of that. And lastly, you're back in a conference with West Virginia. Imagine being upset about that. Because I'm not.
It's a good sell.
Yeah. I guess we just gotta get Mayhul on skis. Once that happens, I think he's done the Opry thing before. I'm actually sure he's done the Opry thing before. But look, just saying I don't want to go to Lubbock. We got some nice places outside of Lubbock. I mean, come on. Get yourself a fast pass at Disney, ride some rides. Come on.
Dude, I could never go to Lubbock because the people in Lubbock are not as smart as the people in Palo Alto. Okay. Next question comes from Skylar Letchworth. Which scenario would you prefer? Both would end us finishing 9-3. Okay. Scenario 1: Virginia Tech wins every game they're favored in, but loses every game they're not favored in. Or, new tweet, Scenario 2, VT steals a win against their team they're not favored in, Miami or Clemson, but loses to a team that they are favored against.
I know my answer immediately.
This is flashback to 2017. You beat everyone who you're supposed to beat. You lose to everyone who you're supposed to lose to. 9-3. Do you want?
We talk about getting back. We talk about getting back to where we once came from. I think this year is the year that you have to have a signature win. I would like to win every single game, but Virginia Tech, for as long as we've known them, when they were rocking and rolling, was winning games you weren't supposed to sometimes, and losing games you were not supposed to win or not supposed to lose. So I would take, if you're offering me 2 9-3s on a platter and it's, hey, we just went chalk through the year, or hey, we beat somebody that we were not supposed to beat, got a Kodak moment, sign me up for that. That's where I am. It's my opinion.
Last question comes from Chris McGuire.
What's your take? Wait, you can't escape this. What is your take?
No, I'm with you, because I think of the 2017 season. We had an epic defense, but we couldn't score enough points, and we beat everyone we were supposed to beat, including that West Virginia game. West Virginia finished 7-6 that year, by the way. I know it was a huge West Virginia win week 1, but they did finish 7-6. So that win, looking back on it, is not as glamorous as it was in the moment. It was a big win, but it was pretty much like we beat West Virginia and then we coasted and beat who we were supposed to beat. Lost to Clemson, got crushed by Miami, got crushed by Clemson, and then fumbled to Oklahoma State, which is
maybe our conference foe. Who knows?
So I will take what Billy Ray said, because the big wins, you remember those things forever, man.
Yeah. You're not going to be saying, man, 2024, the year we beat Duke, we beat Stanford, we beat Syracuse. We did lose to Miami and Clemson, though. That did happen. And maybe one other team that we're not favored against. But I don't really want that. It's not fun. I'd rather let's just win them all, Pat. Let's win all the games. How about that?
At Kurt McGuire, over under 4.5 quote unquote VT babies born on May 31st, 2025. Kurt McGuire is excited for Nashville, it would appear. We do have hotel blocks. We do have hotel rooms, but I'm excited. I'm hoping the number is over.
I have so many. I can't weigh on this. I have too many jokes to make that are not appropriate.
Well, we've been talking for an hour and 2 minutes, so it's about time that we wrap things up, because we got to roll. But this was a ton of fun. Any other last thoughts, Billy Ray? We do have some Sharky shout outs. I can't forget.
No, we'll wrap it up with some Sharky shout outs. I want to shout out T2, Taylor Tannenbaum. She is your host of the ACC Huddle. She hosted all 4 days of coverage live from ACC Kickoff. She is a star. And you know what? I think deep down in her heart, really, really deep down in her heart, she is a Hokie. So I do want to give some congratulatoriness to Taylor Tannenbaum. And also I want to say fantastic job. Our Virginia Tech Hokies FB account has been crushing. Like, they have just put out some awesome content. And just got to tip my cap. Also, I tweeted about this, but you brought it up. Not a lot of arguments going on the timeline. Everybody's just kind of getting along. Sons of Love, like, just getting along. Pretty awesome.
When you have an off season that's that good, when you have a coach that brings everyone together, all races, creeds, religions, everyone's rowing in the same direction here at Virginia Tech. So there's not going to be much fighting in the family.
Nope. Last thing, I do want to shout out our guy, Rich Luttenberger. He has been eating his way through Italy, Looks epic. I know our guy Sam Jesse just took a trip over to the boot, and Rich Luttenberger is over there in the boot now. We're not seeing any boots kicking field goals, unfortunately. I know that that's his thing. It doesn't seem, at Thermopylae in the Coliseum, I think that would be frowned upon. Rich, when in Rome, does as the Romans do. So I'm going to need some soccer kicks or something. But Rich Luttenberger, if you're listening, I hope you're having a great time or a great flight back. Or if you're hearing this 6 months from now, because you just never cease to amaze me. And if you were to say I listened to your podcast from 6 months ago today, I hope you're good with whatever you're doing.
We need to shout out Magic Jack.
What a guy. What a guy.
Connected for some spaghettis yesterday in Charlotte.
You liked them, didn't you?
They were good. Spaghettis were good. Got to see his 75 Bronco, NC State colors, Canada colors, not NC State colors. So that rocked. We did get 2 more letters from the Lunch Pail trickle in, so it's hard to not read those here.
At the buzzer, what do we got?
Okay, at 70-year-old badass. My guy Mike.
Wow. Whoa.
Class of 17 legend. He says points scored this season versus points allowed this season per game.
Oh, okay. I think that this team has an awesome chance to be an unbelievable defense. Now, you look at some of the quarterbacks that we're playing and some of the high rate offenses that we're playing. Offenses that kind of freak me out is just Miami. I mean, Clemson has a ton of question marks. They're replacing a ton of talent on their offense. I'm not saying that we're definitely going to win the game. I just don't think they're going to score 50 points. They're not going to score 40 points. I look at UVA. They suck. I look at Duke. They're not that good. We saw who's probably going to be their quarterback play against Florida State. I just don't think we play a lot of teams that have high-powered offenses that have been proven as high-powered offense to this point. So I'm going to go with our defense giving up. What did we give up in 2017, Pat? What was the total? It was like 11 points.
2017. You'll have to give me a moment, but
we weren't in single digits, were we?
Last year we gave up 23.9 points per game, which was good for 51st. In 2017, we gave up 14.8 points per game, which was fourth. We had the fourth scoring defense in 2017.
So you think about it, you think about inflation, you think about how the game of football has changed. I'm going to go with Virginia Tech giving up 17.5 points and scoring around 25.3. I just completely freeballed that, but that's going to be my prediction.
Okay, I'm going to wholeheartedly disagree with the scoring for. I was going to say 17. I think right around that 16.5, 17 ballpark for opponent points per game. Points for, I'm going to put us at 31.2 points per game. Last year, we were at 29.5 points per game.
Oh, then I'm an idiot. Yeah, I kind of just made this up. All right, yeah, we're going to score more points than 25.
So, I think we're going to ascend in both categories. Great question, Mike. I love it. The Turkey Tavern. Who scores Virginia Tech's first touchdown of the season?
My heart says to go with Bashal Tutin because I think he's going to score a ton of touchdowns, but I'm going to go with Ollie Jennings. I believe Ollie Jennings opened up the scoring last year against Old Dominion, and I'm excited to see that guy. He's a guy that's not being talked about enough. I mean, Ollie Jennings is a talented wide receiver, had a great first game. He's had all year to get healthy. He's had all year to get more chemistry with Kyron Drones. I'm going to go with Ollie Jennings.
So I'm going to throw a curveball. This is the year for Virginia Tech to be back, and APR was talking about scoring a touchdown.
You love scoops and scores, dude.
I think he does it on the first drive of the season, and we're going to open it up with a defensive touchdown in true Virginia Tech fashion. All right. Was there any more questions? It was funny seeing seeing the mentions blow up today. We were tagged in who has the best stadium in the ACC from Just Means Less, FQACC. And this one person says that JMA Wireless, which is the Syracuse Dome, is the best stadium in the country. So we are going to close up shop with that one. Appreciate you guys listening. As always, we'll be back next week. We're getting real close. Mike McDaniel's coming on.
Early August.
You guys love listening to him. The hits always hit higher with Mike McDaniel.
That's a podcast. Pat Finn, I'm going to go pack my bags, and I will talk to you soon, my friend.
You stay classy, San Diego.